Well, Ben, obviously, kind of a track meet there. So how would you describe that game and
Danger,
both teams?
19 minutes.
We knew coming in, obviously, this is a very, very, very good basketball team that can really score offensively, and so we knew, we're not going to hold them to in the 60s or 70s. As a team, you got to make shots. Your offense got to get going, and so the score is what it is. Obviously, you don't want to give a team 105, but they're tough to guard. They got some matchup problems for us. At a lot of spots, and they do a good job of utilizing and going to those matchups. I thought we did a good job of making them take some tough twos and threes, and when they make tough shots, sometimes you got to tip your cap. But I thought our guys battled from start to finish and did a pretty good job with what we were asking them to do, and made a game of it.
How did you guys find success? What worked for you guys, Ben?
I just thought, for us, we had to develop the inside presence, especially start. We had to go inside to Pharrell and Dawson as much as we could and establish that physicality, and then play that inside-out game. And I thought our guards made shots. I think we only had 5 turnovers for the game, so we did a good job taking care of the ball. We tried to push it when we had an opportunity to break. We just couldn't get a rhythm defensively against some of their matchup stuff. Obviously, Domas does a great job of going perimeter post, and when you double like we tried to a couple times, you're giving up backside threes or swing to maybe a three or a drive, and it kind of puts you in the bind. And they do a good job of just keep going back to it and isolating different guys. But I thought our guys did a good job of staying in the fight and giving us a chance in the final 4 minutes to make a game of it.
I mean, the second half, for a good chunk of it, was 3, 4, 5 point game. It just when Illinois was able to kind of push it to double digits, what did you may see in that moment where they kind of took a little bit of control?
Yeah, I thought Shannon got downhill a couple times, which is, he's elite at doing that. And, I thought he kind of was able to get to the rim and get fouls and get some easy twos. But I thought we did a decent job responding, again, and this is one of the better teams in the country, and they have really good depth. Brad does a great job with just coaching them up, and, obviously their rotation is deep, and they got multiple guys that can hurt you, and they're strong, athletic, physical. But I thought, again, our guys did a good job to keep us in it, and, just couldn't get enough stops late.
Ben, with Cam coming back to his home state, obviously looks like a huge get for you guys. What would you see from him tonight, especially getting going early to boost you?
Yeah, no, I think Cam's really coming into his own. He's a guy that loves the moment. We all have a ton of confidence in him. I think his confidence is growing as the year's gone on. I think he's one of the better young players in this league for sure. And when he's getting to his spots, pretty comfortable with him shooting those shots. And I just think you're seeing a guy that's really elevating his game as the year's gone on, and I'm loving the experience that he's been getting.
Anything else for Coach?
All right.
Coleman, I know you guys have been in a couple of these, but what's it been like to be in a shootout like this, and what's the key to pulling out a victory?
I'd say the biggest thing is probably trying to get stops. As much stops as possible. I feel like we can score it at any time. Anybody can do it. So just trying to string together stops, multiple stops, and just staying consistent, not, panicking when people make tough shots. So
It's coming on that front. I think you guys got a kill, and then you were able to push the lead to 11. Just like in that stretch right there, just how important was that to maybe do what you needed to do to kind of get that lead?
Yeah, no, it felt good. You could feel the momentum just swing. It felt like we were going to win the game. And like you said, we put together a few stops and came down the court, got some good looks, and capitalized off of it. They were trying to double team in that pistol action, and we kind of took advantage of that. So it was good to see the momentum shift like that.
Dain, the last month, has it felt any different than earlier in the season? How do you feel? Where's your confidence right now? 'Cause it seems like it's shining right now.
With me it's just staying ready. I just try to do everything I can to help the team win. Whether that's rebounding, setting screens, rim running. I just try to do the little things to help us win.
I guess for both of you, I mean, this team's obviously shown it can score with anybody, outscore anybody. I mean, but I don't know, are you concerned, worried about the defense at all?
Personally, I feel like our defense is fine. It's just we try to force tough shots. When teams have to shoot, when players have to shoot 20-something shots to score 30 points, I mean, I feel like that's a win for us. And the only way teams can score is when they consistently just back you down the whole time, and you can't really do much about it. You try to wall up, and they call fouls. So, no, I feel like we're good where we're at. They made 60-something% from three or whatever field goal. They hit some tough shots. They hit some really good shots. That's a team where, their season's dependent on beating us and a few other teams or whatever games they got left. So I'm not necessarily worried about our defense. I'm just I think it necessarily is just worrying about who we're playing next. And I think a lot of times our defense plays into not into hands of other teams, but will be a struggle for a lot of other teams the rest of the way.
Coleman, Dain is getting some more opportunities here recently. What is he giving you in those opportunities?
Yeah, he's getting kind of lost in that dunker spot, and teams are worrying about him because they have to cover him, and we're getting spray out threes. He's rim running, he's blocking shots, he's rebounding, and he just gives us a different look because I'm always down there trying to box out big guys, and I'm getting in foul trouble, so he always comes in and gives us a spark off the bench. And he does a really good job of doing what he can do, and he's really skilled. Whenever he gets post touches, I feel like he's going to score every single time because he's really skilled. He's good at finishing around the rim. So I think he's going to be huge for us in these next couple games and moving forward.
Dain, did you figure this matchup was one that where you were going to have to make an impact? They got some size inside, and how were you able to make an impact tonight?
Yeah, definitely. Minnesota's a heavy post-up team. They play 2 6'10", 6'11" guys. Pharrell, he's a good center for them. He's big body, so I definitely felt like it was going to be a good matchup. But I felt like I impacted the game really well today with that.
Coleman, Marcus had 18 in the second half, only missed one shot. What'd you see from him when he was really getting going there down the stretch?
Yeah, I thought he stayed patient. He was able to pick them apart when we went to our pistol action. And like I said, he didn't really get sped up. He was just giving what the defense gave him, and a lot of times he made the right reads, kicking the ball out, spraying out for threes. So yeah, it was just good for him good to see him just stay patient. I don't know what he had in the first half, but he played extremely well in that second half. It was good to see him kind of take over the game like that.
It's Dain, for you and Coleman and Quincy all to be in double-figure scoring. Just how big is that? Where maybe all three of you do something a little bit different, but we're all productive, in that role.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's a different look, but I like it. We all can get points in the paint. I feel like it's more efficient with us three playing a lot, but yeah, just a different look, a better look. I feel like with teams like this, Minnesota, Iowa, of course, and I feel like it would be good for Wisconsin as well, just with how they play with their bigs and stuff. So,
Dain, obviously probably better rhythm when you're on the court longer. What's the key to you staying on the court? Is it the rebounds, defense? Like, what's been the key to staying?
Yeah, just doing the little things. Rebounding, defending. Offense is, to me, never been an issue for me. It's just really taking pride on the defensive side, which I feel like I've been doing, and I've still been getting better at. So,
Coleman, we saw Cam Christie get going early, but second half, I think he only had 6. What changed maybe for you guys in terms of cutting that water off a little bit?
I thought we made his catches a lot harder. We extended his catches. We didn't make him comfortable, and ball screens, I think we would get clipped and he'd pull right up knowing that we couldn't reattach because it'd be a foul when he's in that shooting motion. So just being more physical and not necessarily letting him get a catch and not letting him really come off those ball screens. So I thought that was a big part of just kind of slowing him down that second half.
Yeah, Coleman, along those lines, were there some matchup changes defensively? And then on the other end, another matchup exploited really with Marcus posting guys up. Was that a change in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, we had tie in and we were trying to run our nail actions and trying to get him into ball screens because we knew they like to be at the level and kind of not necessarily hard hedge, but they stick their big man with the ball for a minute and allow their low hold to kind of play two. So we were looking for those skip corner threes, and we realized that Pistol was they were worried about that low man. Dain was down there a lot in that action, and they were worried about Marcus a lot. So we had a lot of spray out threes, and then whenever it was one-on-one down there, Marcus did a good job of using his pivots and taking his time to get the best shot possible. So,
Coleman, what do you feel like has led to a night where in 40 minutes you only have 4 turnovers? It just seemed like a really offensive, efficient evening.
Yeah, I feel like they weren't really in the gaps. They weren't really speeding us up. I felt like in the second half, Marcus had the ball in his hands a lot, making right decisions. And I thought we moved the ball well as a team. You know, I didn't think we really over-dribbled. And yeah, I think we were just patient with everything and didn't get sped up.
Coleman, you looked really comfortable initiating offense off the bounce. Like, what's kind of been the key to that the last couple of games?
Just being more comfortable. I feel a lot more comfortable, feeling a lot more confident. And I like every matchup they throw because they move guys around all the time, trying to figure out who they want to guard Ty and all this stuff. So I feel like anytime, you know, I feel like they're switching defenses around. I feel like I can exploit that, and I feel like I did a pretty good job in that first half today. So being a lot more confident.
Dain, my math might be a little bit off, but I think you made 6 of your first 21 free throws, but you've gone 11 for 16 since then. Have you made any changes, or have they just kind of started to fall?
Yeah, they just, you know, I practice free throws every day. You know, it was just getting a good feel for, you know, the start of the season. I don't know what was going on. You know, I shoot free throws every day, so I'm just continue to build on that. So yeah.
College games you see with 200 points. Ben's done a great job. I knew they were very good. They're playing like a top 25 team. And they cause you a lot of problems. I thought Elijah Hawkins was absolutely special today. 12 assists, no turnovers. He didn't have to score. You know, I thought Terrence did a pretty good job on him in the first half. And then, you know, we kind of flipped Terrence over to Cam, and yeah, they were going. Cam's, my opinion, that's what they look like. That's what a pro looks like. I think there's very few guys in college basketball who can shoot off the bounce. I think they told me they had 9 of their threes were off the bounce. That's very hard for college players to do. It's very rare, very unique. And Cam was terrific. He was terrific. You know, Dawson's obviously McDonald's All-American, a veteran. And I thought we strung together enough stops late. We found something. We literally ran one play the last 12 minutes. We didn't have to be overly creative. It's nice to have guys make shots. It's nice to have layups and fouls, and that's what booty ball does, is creates those. We felt like they had matchup issues with us, and we were just able to kind of exploit that. Marcus was terrific, and be very remiss if I didn't talk about Dain and his performance. We're starting to get a little more comfortable with Dain in our booty ball action, where there's space and him creating opportunities to move around where he doesn't get in the way. But he was terrific tonight and gave us a real physical presence against Payne, who's obviously a very good player.
Coach, it did seem like kind of a chess match in the second half. There was, in terms of finding the right matchups on both ends. Were there some changes you thought impacted that and allowed you to start pulling ahead a little bit?
Well, I thought Justin coming in, I thought Justin did a really good job. That we started the second half and we made the switch, put Terrence on Cam, and kind of made things harder. And then all of a sudden here Elijah gets going, and I thought Justin coming into the game impacted that a great deal. Put Terrence back on the ball, and just kind of made catches a little bit harder for their perimeter shooters. But they made everything they looked at. You give them a lot of credit, and then I thought we got enough stops, enough rebounds. And then, it didn't put a ton of pressure on us because we were scoring at the other end.
Obviously, you've had some teams come in here and shoot pretty well here at the State Farm Center. Is when they get hot, is it because they get off to a good start and they get that confidence, or how do you get them off that, early on in the game?
Well, I think we've got to understand that we've got 5 really, 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 really good offenses. And I'm really tired of the narrative in the Big Ten that this is a big, slow, slug-em-out league. And the dynamic has changed in this league. This is a guard league. We haven't had Zach, no doubt, but this is a guard league. There's some unbelievably good guards in this league, best I've seen since I've been here. But offensive efficiency in this league, we have 5 teams above what Purdue was last year. And Purdue was one of the most efficient teams in the country last year. We got 5 teams this year. So offense is at a premium. You have to be able to score to win games. And, the old cliche, offense wins games, defense wins championships. Tonight, offense won us a game. And but good players. There's a reason it's really hard to play at the next level. I think we got really, really good players. We got really good guards. And, makes it tough, and we're obviously going to play high possessions, so there's going to be more possessions. We have that ability.
Brad, you're the number 13 ranked team in the country. You have the number 3 offensive efficiency. Your defense fell to 95 tonight. How concerning is that, or do you need more balance there? Just what's your take?
Probably. There's no doubt. I'm not as worried about it when we're playing the number of possessions we're getting. It's kind of the old cliche. How do you move up in the net? How do you get in the in Ken Palm? Well, you beat people by 100. It's offensive based. I think in the NCAA tournament, I think you got to be able to score. I think we have a lot of weapons to score. Do we need to be better defensively? Yes. And my problem defensively is some of the mistakes that we're making, and we've got to. Those are allowing teams the good starts.
Yeah, Coach, I know there's not a ton you can do about it when they're taking such good care of the basketball, but are there things that you want to do to try to turn teams over a little bit more and speed them up?
No, I don't give 2 rips about turning people over. You find any team that turns people over, and I'll usually show you a bad team that's. I don't want to stay in rotation. I did that. I had top 5 teams in trying to force turnovers and do that, and the players are too good at this level. It's too challenging to try to win that way every single night. No, we're really good with where we're at.
Brad, what is on the offensive end though in terms of turnovers? What has led you guys to play more possessions, but on a night tonight where you have 4 in a 40-minute game? Are you just that connected offensively?
This is going to sound really bad. We don't pass, and we play into, a lot of teams have the mindset, and I have had it for years. You get it to the third side, there's great advantage getting it to the third side. We do that, but the way we start a lot of offense is with, the booty ball and or a little action, and so we're not creating those turnovers, but we are very connected, and we know where guys are at spacing wise. We have a very good feel for that, and you are a little bit shocked when we turn it over.
Brad, what does this version of Dain give you? I know on the note of defense,
lot.
it seemed like maybe the
lot.
most physical inside.
A lot. Yeah, we're going to need Dain, and Dain's a really, really good player, and it's been a challenge. Like I said, playing all the post-up stuff, opening the paint up. We're a driving team. We've been very good at that. We get to the foul line a lot. So it has been somewhat challenging at times in terms of where to play him. He can score with his back to the basket. Well, as soon as he's on the block, those driving lanes become a lot more clogged, and that's why they don't do it in the NBA. But he's finding his spaces. He's a very good roller. He can play in the pocket. He's getting really comfortable there. And then in what we call the dunker spot, moving around the baseline, he's very, very efficient. And so I'm all of us are getting pretty comfortable with that.
You mentioned maybe getting just enough defensive stops late to kind of change the game. Just with all the offense, that will kill you got between the 6 and 5 minute mark. Can that just be the difference?
And nights like tonight, yes. Yeah, I don't know if they had one. I don't know if we went 3 possessions in a row without scoring. But there's nights when the game's pretty and it looks great and the ball goes in and you getting those 3 or 4 consecutive stops is a difference. And tonight that was big for us.
What was the difference for Marcus in that second half after first half where he struggled a bit?
Well, a lot of matchups, and I think that it's one of the processes we go through every game is how our team's going to match us and how our team's going to then guard us. And they hit us really hard early with a real early trap. The second half they waited a little bit till he got down a little more into scoring area. And then they really rotated. We had them spaced pretty well, and they were rotating off Terrence in the corner, and he's just pretty effective with all of that. And they tried 3 or 4 guys on him, and if it ended up being Dawson at the end, and again that's to our advantage.
Coleman, obviously 50 points the last 2 games, but seems more off the bounce. He's gotten comfortable. What is he showcasing there offensively?
We're putting him in space, which is really good. And most of that for him is based on matchup. And it's where he's very comfortable driving 5 men. He's very comfortable driving size. He's still maybe not, when his attacks are more downhill. It's not where we're asking him to be at the top of the key and do some of the things we did a year ago, in facilitating offense and making plays and passes and reads. It's just more downhill, and he's been very good at that. And when you're shooting like he is, that paint gets pretty wide, and he gets pretty hard to guard.
You can tell me I'm wrong, but it seemed tonight there was a lot of back and forth in-game communication with you and Terrence. And how valuable is his feedback in real time? Hey, this is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's and it was both ends of the court. Right. It wasn't just the offensive end; it was very much the defensive side as well. But he plays with a great chip on his shoulder. He wants to be the defensive player of the year in this league. He's talking about, well, can I go under this ball screen, or can I, when he gets here, can I ice or can I blue? And our boy at the Big Ten Network, Raphael Davis, gave us great motivation today because he doesn't like him very much, and told him he basically left him off the all defensive team. So. Terrence walked in our coach's locker room and, said, call him and ask him about that. But Terrence is in communication all the time, but tonight he was very dialed in, both ends.
Coleman mentioned making Cam's touches harder in the second half. What did you see as far as slowing him down, making him a little more uncomfortable than he was in the early going?
We let him come off ball screens clean in the first half. I mean, in the first half, his touches were harder. They were more off the catch. We never let him get into ball screens. I think he made 4 in the first half, 3 or 4 in the first half off the bounce. And Marcus, started on him and got clipped on a screen. And you give Cam a breath of air like that with his high release and 6'6" frame, and that thing's a bucket. And he's done that all year in this league, we did make his touches harder. I thought Justin did a nice job in the second half. Thank you.